and today I'll give you the update of the war that's now under ceasefire. But today, the military of Iran, IRGC, they said that America has actually cancelled, broke the ceasefire. You know how that happened? Because they blockade the Strait of Hormuz, especially the ship that goes to Iran and leaving the Iranian port. So that is actually a breaking of ceasefire. That's what Iran said. It is actually technically yes, because in that case, any ship that is bound to Iran and leaving the Iran, they can't do that because the USA has deployed almost few dozen, warship, amphibious ship, guided missile destroyer, and everything. So, but there are some reports that Chinese tankers and some other Iranian super tanker leave that place, cross the Hormuz anywhere, especially where the international water where the USA blockade. But but the thing that is happening now, it's really now, Iran said, and America also, that they are going to meet again in Islamabad, Pakistan, very soon. Donald Trump said it's within 2 days, but the Pakistani Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif is now in visiting some country, especially the Gulf country, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia, then Turkey, to discuss about the war and the ceasefire and everything. We are thinking maybe it will not within 2 days. That's what the Donald Trump announced. But it will again. They will say it, and the Iran agreed to halt the nuclear activity for almost 5 years. So that's a good sign of negotiation, I think. Then today, the IRGC, the head of the military branch, he said that it's actually they broke the ceasefire by blockading the ship that is coming from Iran or bounding to Iran. So that's not a good thing. That's really bad. For we don't want any war anymore. We want the ceasefire to continue. We want the permanent ending of the war. Like especially the European country and some other country, they all want this permanent, not the ceasefire, the end of the war. But in that case, the Israel, the Turkish Prime Minister Recep Tayyip Erdogan today said, the Israel should keep away from this negotiation, or to incite some fire inside of the negotiation team, because there's a skepticism that while they were all negotiating, Israeli Prime Minister called JD Vance or something in between, in the middle of the conversation. Then they actually turn their topic in different way. So that's why I also feel like that Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu should be keep away from this negotiation or from this war far, because they're always taking some like in a step, like say Israel is a rogue regime. They have had more than few dozen nuclear weapons, and they're still having it. They're fighting with Lebanon, they're fighting with Gaza and some other country. They're always fighting Yemen, and always killing a lot of people. But they could have the nuclear weapon. They can produce, they can process, they can still have, they can research and everything. But Iran can't. What a shame, that is. I don't understand that. If you have, then why don't I have it? Oh, it's because I am gonna use it. You think that doesn't have any sense? Makes any sense, to be honest. So what I'm thinking, the war will end very soon. They will discuss again. The Donald Trump told China as well that okay, you don't provide any weapons to Iran. The China said that we are not so far technically. So there is a negotiation. They were talking about, they were sending letters to each other. The Donald Trump told to the Fox News in an interview. So that's a good thing. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Because today Russia was taking a bold step too. Russia also said that actually they are blockading the Strait of Hormuz. That is kind of technically, you know, not a thing that you can do that. You can't do forcefully, blockading the international water. And you said that okay, no vehicle, no ship can transit. Especially which are going to Iran, or this is not a system. That means you are a kind of a police state. Like you want to control everyone, everything. And always he's saying that we have the most powerful military in this world, and we are going to attack any country that no one have ever seen that before. We are going to rain down the havoc. We are going to kill all the civilization in Iraq. What is the meaning of that? A president of a country you know, had almost more than 2,000 nuclear weapons and holding that. And how can that happen? I don't understand that. What is the sense of him, like, to say that? And maybe if it continues, I feel like that the war will again continue. The Russia also said that there is an activity in the Gulf and the water sea, that they are increasing the number of troops, the vehicles, the ships and everything, amphibious ship which can attack ground and the water as well. So it could mean they're going to do an ground offensive very soon. That's what they are thinking. The Russia is warned Iran and USA about that too. But you can do that while you are negotiating, while you are discussing against something, with someone. So that time you can increase the shape and the personnel, and that really means showing all the data and everything. The Russia is suspecting that in the negotiation process and everything, they are doing something else. They are having something else in their mind. Maybe they are going to do a ground offensive, and Russia won that. USA, they don't want any war, like the blockade. And Iran today also talk about blocking the Strait of Hormuz and the Red Sea and Gulf of Oman or something. They are going to do that very soon, so that's a good thing. So if they do that, this is the warmongering talks, but still you don't have any way to do that because America is just blocking the road, like the international water. You can't do that. So they could negotiate and they could turn the Strait of Hormuz open by negotiation and everything, but they're not doing that. They are pressuring mostly China. You know how? Because China is taking oil from Iran a lot. Most high buyer, like they're taking a lot of oil from Iran. That's the thing. The thing that China will pressure Iran, and Iran will come to the negotiation table and everything. They will accept their all the proposal. It's not like that. This is not going to happen. Iran is not like that regime. Iran has a history of more than thousands years. Thousands and thousands years. So you can't do anything. They're resilient. They are very much a strong country. Like there is a 1 million. They want the reservists. They want the new soldier in their military, if the ground offensive or something. Almost more than 10 million or more than that people signed the papers, to fight for the country. So you can't do anything. And also, Donald Trump said that we are not going to extend the ceasefire. What does it mean? That means one war again. Again there will be the war, and Israel will also preparing for, they also have the readiness to attack again. they can attack again to the country, and on Iran, to bring down the it's almost 140 billion dollar they have already lost the country, but still. So I think the war should stop. They should come to the negotiation table, and they have to have some concession. You are not always taking, oh, that is mine, and I want the judgment, but this thing is mine. Over what the argument for, or that is mine, but I just want the justice. I accept the judgment. It's not like that. You have to have some concession while you are negotiating. That's how the negotiation will happen, and we will get a fruitful negotiation, and then the war. And we are suffering a lot. The Bangladesh, the country, we have a shortage of oil, and the people are suffering. There's a big line on the petrol station, like the diesel. That we don't get enough diesel. So I think it will stop very soon. Everyone will come to the negotiating table. Everyone will understand. Especially, they will talk against Israel, and I think the people, especially the some Gulf country, they should have been together to attack Israel or something, with a lot of weapons and everything. So thank you for your time. Goodbye. Take care.